Whoa, what's good, man? My name is FlemLo. Want to welcome y'all back to another episode of This Week in Last Chance U. Now, we had a couple guys within the Last Chance U universe have standout performances this past week. Also, staying just on the football field, we got a little bit of bad news, as it seems very likely that one of our players has permanently lost his position battle. Now, before we jump into it, I want to let y'all know that I do have an upcoming interview or conversation or whatever you want to call it with my guy Isaiah Wright. Now, y'all know Isaiah Wright was my favorite character from seasons 1 and season 2. And we should be able to have a pretty interesting conversation, as I definitely have some questions for him. But not to leave y'all out, man, I want y'all to leave questions in the comment section that you would like to ask Isaiah. Whatever you typing down there, just make sure you wording it in a way that you would actually ask it if you were standing face to face with this man, like nothing disrespectful. Now, I was contacted by an anonymous source who claims to be a friend of Coach Brown, and he gave me some little tidbits of information that do seem to connect the dots a little bit on two of our favorite characters from season 3. So we're about to get into that. In this video, we got news on Malik Henry, Bobby Bruce, DeAndre Johnson, Emmit Gooden, Jamal Scott, and more. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. Without further ado, y'all know what time it is. This Week in Last Chance U. Cue the Wayne.
Yeah, you'll never know quitter, 'cause I'ma go get her.
Now, you guys have told me that you only consider spoilers to be scores or outcomes of games, so there will be none of that. But there will be information regarding players who are currently still at Independence. If you want to skip to the guys who are no longer there, you can go to this timestamp. So I was contacted by a guy with information on Bobby Bruce and Malik Henry. Now, to be clear, I get contacted about stuff like this pretty frequently these days, but this time was a little bit different. Now, the guy wants to remain anonymous, and I have no actual evidence to back up these claims. Actually, there is a bit of evidence, but we'll kind of talk about that as we get there. But I do want to warn, these first two news stories featuring Bobby Bruce and Malik Henry, you should take these with a grain of salt. Last week, I reported that Bobby Bruce had been removed from the Independence roster. That's fact. He was reportedly kicked off the team for a violation of team rules. My anonymous source says that team violation was actually a huge argument with Coach Brown. Now, it doesn't take much imagination to picture this argument, as it's Coach Brown and he argues with everybody, and he and Bobby Bruce even had a few scrapes during Indy Part 1. It's an unfortunate situation, as I know everybody was hoping that Bobby could turn it around, and I'm honestly not sure what's next for him, assuming these rumors are true. Bobby's a kid with a ton of potential, and I think he became a fan favorite because a lot of people identify with him. So Bobby, if you're watching this, bro, understand that your life is much more than just football. So assuming you're not on the football team anymore and you're not gonna actually be playing ball, there's a bigger purpose out here for you, my guy. All right, so stay up. My source also informed me that Malik Henry is indeed still at Indy, but he isn't gonna play this year. He's been practicing with the team and running scout team. Now, again, my source claims to be a friend of Coach Brown, and he says the given reason, and I quote, Coach Brown said he needed to humble his ass. Now, again, doesn't take a lot of imagination to hear Coach Brown saying that, but it doesn't quite line up with the same tone when it comes to Malik that we heard from Coach Brown on that recent radio interview that I covered a few episodes ago. At the same time, Malik has not taken the field, but he does remain on the roster, so this would explain why we haven't seen him. And again, if these rumors are true, we won't see him this year. Personally, I'm going to go ahead and predict that Malik won't be at Indy next year. I think if he has a quiet year, even if he doesn't get out there on the field, I just feel like he's gonna end up on some small Division I team's roster next season, because this guy is obviously talented and everybody seems to like and respect him. Check out what Miss Latanya Pinker tweeted out the other day. This was in response to a funny GIF posted by the official Last Chance U Twitter page. She said, "I have to chime in a bit. I work with Malik as a teacher, tutor, life coach, and friend. and he was never disrespectful. I'm pretty sure he's figured it out and doing better. Now, she posted this with laughing emojis and a heart. Like, this wasn't a light, playful thing, because this is a light, playful gift that Last Chance U posted. But still, you know. Now, to me, this is very important, just because every piece of information that we've gotten about Malik since the show shows a guy who has been improving as far as his mental state goes. Everybody from Malik's dad to his coaches to, you know, you could see it on the show. Like, the dude, when he got to Indy, he seemed very depressed and like he was just in a funk. But he seemed to come out of that and have turned the corner, or he's at least turning the corner, and he seems to be doing a lot better. That's important because Bobby Bruce also seemed to deal with something very similar. Now, their reasoning was different, but it doesn't matter. The result was basically the same. Bobby also seemed to be dealing with some form of depression, and he also had a lot of self-doubt, and he lacked confidence in a lot of situations. The only thing I fear is that he doesn't quite have the resources that Malik has. But even if he's off the team, I think he'd still be at the school for the rest of the semester as long as he didn't leave. And hopefully people like Ms. Pinker are helping him to turn that corner mentally so that he can still win in life. All right, man, taking a step out of the rumor mill, let's jump into some stats from this past week. Kingston Davis is yet to lead UAB in attempts or yardage, but for the second week in a row, he found the end zone. Now, he only got 6 carries, but he made the most of it with 47 yards. That's a 7.8 yards per carry average. Dakota Allen recorded 3 tackles versus Lamar as Texas Tech blew that team out, of course. And after having some issues early on, Carlos Thompson has been ruled eligible to play at Missouri Western. Now, if you recall from the show, Carlos's D1 clock had run out due to all his transfers and everything that he's been through in his college football journey. So he was no longer able to play D1 even though he had the skills to do so. So he had to attend a D2 school, Missouri Western, and looks like he missed the first couple of games, but he's now going to be eligible. Carlos needs to put together some big weeks going forward to garner attention so that he can have an opportunity to achieve his dream of making it to the NFL. Carlos is another one of those guys, my favorite character from season 3, where if football doesn't work out, he still definitely has a future that I think is very bright. Now, let's move on to Emmit Gooden. This dude had an amazing day at Tennessee last week. He racked up 8 tackles, including 3 for loss, and he recorded a sack. Emmit was always one of those guys with his head on straight. The dude seems very goal-driven, very focused, on top of being very talented, so he's definitely got a bright future. Ronald Ali recorded a couple tackles last week as well, with 1 tackle for loss, and some of y'all may remember Ali's homeboy Marcel Andre from season 1. Well, he's now Ali's D-line coach after just having graduated last year. So I would imagine that Ali feels proud and a little bit odd every time Marcel's yelling at him when he's like, yo, this is my homeboy, and he's getting on my ass right now. Jamal Scott continues to eat at Eastern Illinois after showing up Rakeem Boyd last week versus Arkansas. As I predicted, he puts up another big game with 96 yards and a TD this week versus a team that's on a more even playing field. Jamal Scott production cannot be ignored, okay? Now, speaking of Rakeem, he had a good day as well with Arkansas. Only thing is, he only had 7 carries. But on those 7 carries, the dude gained 67 yards, so he ate. Now, we got a little bit of bad news for DeAndre Johnson, as redshirt freshman Chris Robinson has been named the starter going forward. A lot of fans were calling for DeAndre to get the start after that terrible OU performance, but Chris Robinson got the nod for 1 more week, and he put up 471 yards through the air and also threw 3 touchdowns with no interceptions in a win versus Air Force. I am not sure what DeAndre's next move is gonna be. He never really got a chance to get on the field over at FAU, and it sucks, man. It really, really sucks. And thank y'all for checking out the video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget, bro, click the thumbs up button and subscribe if you're brand new. My name is FlemLo Raps. I'll holler at you next time. Wow.
Yeah. I'ma go get her.